5 years ago, me and my wife, Nicole, moved from Portland, Oregon. We packed up our family, our 4 kids, left everything we knew, pretty much moved to Boise, Idaho, sight unseen, for a better life.
Ever since we moved, we've had the same question from friends and family, and honestly, people from the YouTube channel, was it worth it? Do we regret moving to Idaho?
Nicole and I are going to talk about what it's been like living in Boise, Idaho now for 5+ years. We'll talk about what the move is like, what it's like starting over, and then hopefully answer that question, was it worth it?
Craig Flood, a local real estate agent here in Boise, Idaho, and my team helps families figure out where to land in Idaho, and we offer free scouting trips so that you don't make a $700,000 mistake in the wrong city. If you're thinking about moving here, you can scan the QR code or you can text Idaho to 208-264-3211 to book your free relocation consult.
So why did we move to Boise, Idaho? So 5 years ago, we were living in Portland, Oregon, on the verge of having our 4th kid. We found the place that we were living was not the safest place at all, politically very liberal.
It was feeling inhospitable for raising a family months away from having our 4th baby. We just were out of room.
It was a pivoting point for sure. We needed to move, and that's what really put the pressure on us. I knew if we moved somewhere, we're probably gonna blink and a decade will go by. But we'd been looking for years at other places that would be a good fit for our family, what we wanted to do, what we wanted to build. And then Boise hit our radar, and it kind of checked all the boxes. What really drew me to Idaho was, and specifically Boise, was the town of Boise, which we're in right now. It had a legitimate downtown area with restaurants, and it's the capital, events and activities to go to. It has the Boise River that cuts through town. It felt like a town that you wouldn't get swallowed up in. Not too big, not too small. We're originally from Moscow, Idaho. We considered moving to Moscow, and that just felt a little too small for us. And it's like, well, what about work opportunities? That's where Boise really fit that gap. It was a very clean, safe, conservative place to live. Now, let's talk about what it was really like for us to start over. Relocation is hard. It's not like you're just moving across the street or you're moving across the neighborhood. You're just changing everything. Friends, family. I mean, it doesn't get more aggressive than that unless you move out of country.
Yeah.
We first came here, we moved to Eagle, Idaho. I knew one person, Brian Rupp, and you knew
Katie Miltenberger.
Katie Miltenberger. You always wonder if you made the right decision. I think I figured that out the morning I woke up the next day. We had arrived in the evening. Come on, guys. And then I remember waking up the next morning. We were in Eagle, right above Gerber Park. It was beautiful, and I took the kids to the park, and there were no homeless people, and I didn't have to sweep it for needles. It was just nice and clean, and people had pride and took care of their stuff.
I don't think you could have had a much more dramatic shift from what we left to what we came to. It felt like the promised land. I think I've said that every time.
You had a hard season though too.
Oh,
So, well, yeah. Well, there was a lot going on. When we moved here, I found a short-term rental, because in my mind, it's like, okay, we wanted to sell our house in Portland, get the proceeds from that, and then use that to make an offer here. We didn't want to carry 2 mortgages, and we weren't super confident on where to move just yet. So we landed in Eagle temporarily, and then we ended up finding a home. Then I spent a lot of time remodeling that. You had one friend.
I had one friend. I had a 2-week-old baby when we moved here and 3 other small children that we were trying to homeschool for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was an overwhelming season in my life and very lonely. And that doesn't last forever, but it was really hard.
It was a hard season, and it was getting a house that needed work. It doesn't have to look like that. You could buy a new construction house, move straight into it. A lot of the people who we help move here do that, and that can really simplify things. You're not moving twice.
I think it's hard when you move to a temporary place, knowing you're going to shift somewhere else, because it's hard to build community. I think that was a tough part for us because we didn't know if we were going to stay in the area that we were. And we made a few friends, and then we moved 30 minutes away from that when we bought our house and never saw those people again because they live far away. That was a little tough. I'm feeling a little bit transient still. I think it would have been easier to feel like you're digging in right away if we had just bought a house, committed to an area, and landed there. I think that was
if I would have done a scouting trip, that could have been very helpful.
Sure.
But again, it was a crazy time to buy homes. I didn't find the neighbors to be too friendly where we lived.
In Eagle, they weren't friendly at all.
Yeah.
I
think there were a bunch of people who moved up from California. No knock on you guys in California.
Seriously, did you just say that?
I meet a lot of great people from California. But also the neighborhood, the way the houses were designed, it was very much the garage in front. People would pull their car and shut the garage, and then you just wouldn't see them. I met one guy who had some kids, but there weren't a ton of kids on that street to begin with. When you're thinking about relocation, it's like, man, You don't want to move to the wrong neighborhood. You want your kids to have friends. What was it like for us making friends?
I think the first couple years were hard.
We have friends now.
We stopped homeschooling and put our kids in a school that we love that has really good community.
There's a bit of a con to that because it's a private school we ended up going with, and so then those friends are all over the Treasure Valley.
I just find myself driving a whole lot more than I would have anticipated.
If we did not put our kids in a specific school, our life would be very small.
So we've baked our cake. We're eating it.
Yeah. I think something that surprised me about moving to Boise was the people and the values and the politics. I've always kind of lived in more liberal states, Washington and Oregon, and obviously Nicole's from Idaho. Moving here, it was like a breath of fresh air of it's like, oh, these are my people. I feel really comfortable here. People value family. They don't look at you weird if you got a bunch of kids. They don't look at you strange if you say you go to church. They are kind, caring, talkative. When people come here on scouting trips to see if Idaho's a good fit for them, they often make comments about how shocked they are of how nice people are.
It feels very easy to be a family in Idaho. And that sounds weird, but there's just places you can live that are not very hospitable to taking kids around places with you, and people make comments that are really frustrating, and you just don't hear that here, and I've loved that.
It would be very hard to leave it. Now that I know it and I'm used to it, you could not twist my arm and get me to move back to a place like Portland or Seattle.
Oh, I agree.
We left Portland after how many years did we live there?
10.
We obviously had friends, people that we did life with. We all had our kids roughly at the same time, which is a very bonding thing to go through with people.
Yeah.
You're obviously not going to replace them. It's just going to be different. I often tell people, I'm like, it takes 1 to 2 to 3 years, depending.
I'd say 3. I think it takes 3 years.
To really kind of form something if you're active about it. Mm-hmm. But now, coming up on 6 years, we have some really good friends now. Yeah. Friends that I'd be very sad to leave.
I think the tip is have a plan. Have a plan for how you're going to get your family around people. Have a plan for building community. Have a plan for where you're going to go to find those people, because it's lonely if you don't, and that's not a fun way to live for long. So you're going to have it, but
even for our kids too, it's like we moved our kids away from the only people they've known their entire lives. Yeah. The only friendships they'd ever had. And I think looking back at that, it's like I could have thought more about that. I was just more thinking, man, we got to get Portland was not safe anymore, and it's like we just got to get our family out of here. Yeah. But as I think about some of our other kids, I mean, they're going through the exact same thing we're going through. And then we have another family who moved here too, who they're homeschooling, and they're trying to figure out how do they get their older kids connected. Because I was just thinking, our kids, obviously, they're making friends at school and things like that. But then if you're homeschooling too, it's like,
where's your community coming from? How are you getting friends for your big kids? Because not as many people homeschool.
And if you do get friends for your big kids and you're in a homeschool community, where do those people live? And again, you might be looking at that scattered effect. Yeah. And then all of a sudden your kid's friend is 20, 30 minutes away. Or you figure out that all those people kind of live in a certain area.
And maybe that pushes you to make different decisions.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about seasons, winter and summer. One of the reasons I was also looking to move, again, we lived in Portland, Oregon, and I hated the long, dreary, cloudy, wet winters. And I always wanted to move to a place that just had more sun. I think I sometimes dream of living in a place that's always sunny and warm, like San Diego. But this is the closest I will probably ever get to that. Don't want to move that far away from family. So here we are on a winter day. It's January. It's kind of a unique season where...
This is not a normal winter day.
No, it hasn't snow really hasn't hit, even though I do see it up in the foothills right now. But out here in a down jacket, it's cold. I'm dreaming of summer already. We're at least past the shortest day of the year in terms of light.
It's still dark by 5.
I go to work, kids wake up early to go to school. I come home and it's dark. Pretty depressing. There's no way around it. I would not choose it.
I guess you could technically say that I'm depressed.
Even today it was nice though, because we had light, but this morning it was just completely gray.
Right. One thing that really surprised me living here, because I grew up in Moscow, and it's dark at 4 in the winters, meaning it's like dusky by 3:30, and that's depressing. So the difference of having light until 5 in the peak of winter here, I think it's actually really great. Yeah. I don't mind it.
Idaho's interesting where the top half of the state, they cut it right, not right down the middle, they cut it right in half. The northern half is Pacific Standard Time, hour behind us, and then the southern half, southern Idaho, Boise, is going to be Mountain Standard Time.
Usually in January like this, it's 20 degrees. I mean, the fact that it's like in the 40s and I'm in a light jacket, this is not normal. It does get really cold.
Yeah, this is a freak winter. I mean, our kids were outside the other day, without shoes or socks on and a t-shirt running around. And you're like, that's not your typical January.
No.
But a typical January, it's cold.
Icy.
It gets dark.
Yeah.
But usually you have a mountain, so if you want to go skiing, you can go do that. But we still do get a lot of sun, even though it can be cloudy. But if you're coming from a place like California or something, then yeah, you're probably thinking, am I going to survive the winters? Do I even want to do the winters? And what we see a lot of people do is they do scouting trips here, and they'll do more than one. They'll come in the summertime, they'll come in the wintertime to see if that works for them. So just something to think about if you're thinking about making the move out here. Now let's talk about summer. It's great. You have the Boise River that cuts through town. So depending on where you live, anywhere in the Treasure Valley, you could be within minutes, 10, 20 minutes from the Boise River. You could be 10, 20 minutes from trail systems. With the Boise River, you get the green belt for walking. You do a lot of bike rides as a family. Lots of events happening. Music festivals, access to the outdoors.
Summers are fun around here.
Oh yeah,
We'll
camping,
often,
hot springs.
You know, escape up towards McCall in the summers.
Rafting trip with the kids.
Everything's close and easy to get to, and there's a lot of opportunities to be outside. Our kids also just play a ton around our neighborhood in the summer. Like, I love that we're in a safe enough place. They can roam the block and I don't worry about them. And that's really, really refreshing.
For me, growing up, I grew up in Puyallup, kind of in the sticks, and it was just like, you know, wake up, disappear, hop on a motorcycle, come back for dinner. No cell phones. It was amazing. Talked to a lot of you and you're like, I would not even let my kid go ride a bike through the neighborhood. And, you know, here it's like, our kids just disappear on bikes in the neighborhood, and you start calling around to figure out who's where and what, and send them home for dinner. And or can, hey, your son stay for dinner because he's hanging out at our house?
It's not quite your childhood, but
no,
probably the closest.
I didn't grow up in like a city like this. I'm like twitching a little bit being here. I want my kids to be on motorcycles, riding around in a field and coming home at dark. If you like sourdough, my wife says this is a really good sourdough place.
I really like it. They just opened up. They had a food cart that would go to the farmers markets for years, and they just got a brick and mortar. And they're so good. They've got like beautiful sourdough loaves, but also just croissants and pastries and all these things that are long fermented. And
what's their name? Burred?
Bread.
Burred Bakery?
Their last name is Burr, like their family last name.
Bread.
Bread.
Bread. All right, things we don't love about Boise. This is hard. You go first while I think about it.
I wish there was a little more snow.
Okay.
I do.
Because you grew up in Moscow, and you're in the wintertime you're just shoveling snow.
Well, I didn't have to shovel it.
Well,
I just got to play
I remember
it.
I remember living up there for like a month with your family because we were traveling.
Yeah.
And every night I'd come home and shovel snow. And it was kind of fun.
Snow.
It was like a workout. It got you moving. I don't want to sign up for that.
I don't want as much snow as Moscow. I just want a little more snow than Boise has. I mean, I guess I'd also say, I think even in the 5 years that we've lived here, the traffic on 84 in the evenings has definitely grown. And that's, I don't have to be in it all that often. When I am in it, it's pretty terrible. I would hate to have a life where I had to drive in that traffic every day. Granted, I've never had a life where I have a very low tolerance for traffic because I've never had to deal with it.
You've always lived close to work.
Yeah.
You were a nurse. Now she just raises the kids, which is phenomenal. But you always lived close to a hospital.
Right.
That you worked at. Yeah.
Now, I did just say just raises the kids. I just want to clear this up. I am insanely grateful that my wife raises our kids and that I'm able to provide for her so that she doesn't have to go work. Just wanted to put that out there. Super happy. Thank you, babe. Totally appreciate you.
I mean, we made a drive the other night. Our son had a piano recital out in Caldwell, so we had to hit that rush hour that people are making. If they're working downtown, then they're making that drive out. And you kind of hit it in two phases. You hit it really coming right out of Boise and then again at Eagle Road.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be brutal. And I popped a tire that night. That was fun.
Such a bummer.
Changing a tire on the side of the road. It was the first time I ever thought, I was like, I'm gonna call 911 because I want a cop car behind me because I do not want to get hit by a car.
Isaiah Con, Boise's more expensive than it even was when we moved here. I mean, housing prices are significantly more than they were 5 years ago, which was significantly more than it was 5 years before that. And
which is the same with
it's
everything.
everywhere.
And you could say that's a con, but that's also a pro because
we're in the
your
market.
home value is going up, and I don't want to live in a stagnant area.
Right.
Boise can be a little bit more liberal than maybe I would have hoped for. I think as soon as you get out of Boise, get out into some of the other counties, other cities surrounding, things can get a bit more conservative. But that's something I do spend my time thinking about is like, hey, where's the city going? Something else that I would say too, this isn't a con, this just came to my mind though, but last year, I mean, I think about what has changed over the last year. My mom moved to town.
Yeah.
And so I see that for a lot of our clients, when they move, family follows, whether it's the parents and then the kids follow or vice versa. And then it was funny because then it happened for us where now we have a grandparent in town. I would have said that would have been a con for us where we did choose Boise. I think it was the right fit for us, but we weren't moving close to family, and we have 4 kids.
The con was, we moved no closer to my parents, and we moved
farther away from my parents.
Yeah. And your parents, especially your mom, had been really involved with our kids before, and that was a big loss for several years of having that distance. And so it turned into a big pro for us, but it doesn't always work out that way for people. That is a huge consideration of moving away from family. I know so many people are doing it, but it's hard. It's really hard.
As you're thinking about making a move, you're thinking about so many things: job, family, relationships. Are you getting closer, further away? I think for a lot of people, you're getting further away.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's a guarantee they're going to follow you. But man, do I see it happen a lot.
Yeah.
We were making a film up in Moscow, Idaho, and I ran into some family who recognized me on the street. And I ended up talking with them, and I think they said 25 of them all moved together, like adults, parents, kids. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how great that you guys all got to move together, and what a great thing for you guys and your family to all start over. It doesn't happen like that for everybody, but if you love your family and you want them to be close to you, it's great. If you don't want them to be close to you, then just tell them it's a horrible place and super expensive and cold all the time like this. Like, you would not like it. I wish I could have come up with more cons for you guys, but honestly, I freaking love it here. I'm biased, but I do have a really good pros and cons video that you guys could go watch. I'll link that in the description down below. Would we move again? Absolutely. I don't know where else we'd go. I'm super happy with how it turned out. It turned out just like I would have hoped it would have been. If you're serious about getting moved here, then you can reach out. We offer free scouting trip plans. We help people plan out neighborhoods and things that they would like so that you could ultimately figure out if it's going to be a good fit for you or not. So you can text, call, or email. Use the link in the description below to book that time with me, and we can help you go through that process.